Hello students, this is MD Rizwan. I am faculty for Geography Optional at Vajiram and Ravi. Today we are going to discuss an important topic of section B, that is human geography, in perspectives. Perspectives are nothing but the geographical thought. So in geographical thought, the important dimension that has emerged in 18th and 19th century was the concept of determinism. In your syllabus, it will be mentioned as environmentalism. Environmentalism. Now, what do you mean by environmentalism? So, first, this topic is of chapter number 6 of paper 1, and this is section B, human geography. Human geography. In this chapter, named as perspectives, or this is the geographical thought, we are discussing today the concept of environmentalism. See, one of the important approaches that are used to study the human landscape. So, our objective in human geography is to understand what is a human landscape. And what is the meaning of human landscape? Human landscape is the product of humans' interaction with the environment. How is man interacting with the environment? This is going to determine how will be the human landscape. Now, for example, agriculture. Agriculture is a human landscape. And what is the agriculture? Agriculture is a product of man's relationship with the land, or his relation with the soil, or we can say his relation with, in general, the environmental condition. So, what is determining agriculture as a landscape? Agriculture as a landscape is determined by how is man interacting with the environment, right? So, in entire human geography, the aim of the geographer is to understand that how man is going to interact with the environment, and this interaction sometimes are governed by the environmental condition. So, to analyze this relationship between man and environment, there has been two schools of thought. So, our objective is to understand the relationship between man and environment, and to understand this relationship, there were two schools of thought emerging in geography. One was known as determinism, and the second school was possibilism. So, there are two dimensions, we can say, determinism and possibilism, and they are considered as two opposite ends of the continuum, means two binary opposite ideas to understand this relationship between man and environment. What do you mean by determinism? Determinism is, according to determinism or deterministic geographers, they believe environment is supreme. Environment is supreme and man is passive. It means that everything of man is determined by environment, whether it is history, or whether it is society, or any kind of economic activities, or it is organizations, culture, everything is a product of environment. So, there is a supremacy of environment in understanding the man's relationship with the environment. Environment is emphasized. This idea is known as determinism, And what is opposite idea here? That is possibilism. Possibilism is emphasizing on the role of man. So possibilism treats man as an active agent. Man as an active agent, and it believes in the ability of man to modify environment, in the sense that, see, these are two contrasting ideas. So the aim is to understand the man environment relationship. One group of geographers and philosophers, they say, when you try to understand man environment relationship, environment is supreme. While there are some geographers who did not believe on this idea of determinism, they said that it is other way. Environment is same at all the places. Environment is more or less neutral. Environment is not dictating anything to the man, but it is the ability of the man to choose from the given environment. So environment has remained the same, means the soil conditions are available at all the places, but what to cultivate, how much to cultivate, what type of field should be there, how is the market, all these are determined by man himself. The technology, skill, efforts, knowledge, awareness, these are the factors that are going to determine how is man related with the environment. This was known as possibilistic thought. Possibilism, it is about opportunities. Man can define his, we can say, domain. Man can define how he can react and interact with the environment. Man can determine his own destiny. This was the concept of possibilism, which was exactly opposite to what was there in determinism. Determinism and deterministic philosophers and geographers, they thought in a different manner. They said that no, environment is supreme, environment is dictator, environment is coercive. It means that man has to obey the environment. Man cannot go against environment, man cannot react to environment. They believe that what man is doing will be definitely determined by the environmental forces. In the sense that what can be cultivated, take the example of agriculture, what can be cultivated is decided by the environment. So it is the availability of water, temperature, rainfall, nature of the soil. This is going to determine the type of agriculture. It is not going to be decided by what man is or what technology it is having, what skills he is having. So this idea is referred as determinism. And determinism, one extreme view, possibilism, another extreme view. Therefore, they are considered as two binary opposite thoughts in the same continuum. In the same continuum means both are having the objective to understand what is the relationship between man and environment. Both are treating that these two coexist. Man and environment coexist. That is, therefore, we say determinism is also, determinism and environmentalism or determinism and possibilism, these are also the dualism and dichotomies, right? Means existing together. Dualism means two existing together, but they are different from each other. So, but there were geographers who thought that instead of taking an extreme view about understanding the relationship between man and environment, can we find a middle path for this? And this led to the emergence of the concept of neo-determinism. Neo-determinism, this is also referred as stop and go determinism. Stop and go determinism, and this was given by the Australian geographer Griffith Taylor. So, what is this idea? This is something like a madhya marg between two extreme ends. One side you have one extreme philosophy of determinism, which says environment is supreme. Man has no identity. Man is like any other creature. Man is passive. Man is just obeying the environment. Man has to obey the environment. That was determinism. And possibilism is another extreme which says that everything can be determined by man. Means what? Whether it's man's culture, society, economic development, political conditions, social organizations, everything is the result of man's own effort. This was another view. Both are having certain limitation. Determinism has its own limitation as a philosophy. Possibilism also has its own limitation as a philosophy. Therefore, there are certain group of geographers who believed that there should be some middle path. It should be something like a madhya marg between these two extreme ends, and that led to what is known as stop and go determinism. Stop and go determinism is a mild version. We can say it is a combination of the two philosophies of determinism and possibilism. New determinism says that the environment is providing a broad framework, or we can say here the master plan is provided by environment, and man has to gain the benefit. Man has to operate within the larger framework of the environment. Means what? Environment is providing signal to man, but how is man growing? How the man progresses? This depends on the understanding of man about the environment. So how is this term stop and go determinism came from the example of a traffic signal. So traffic signal which has a green light and it has yellow and red, right? So here environment is also like a traffic signal. And what environment does? Environment is hinting man. Environment provides a hint, like it is red. Red means red flag, means stop. Man should understand this. Red means what? He should not continue that activity. So for example, here let us say if there is a river and this river is frequently flooding and this area around the bank of the river is getting submerged. What is this? This is an indication of the environment that these areas should not be used for human settlement. Now man can use this hint. Man, by understanding this hint, he should plan for urban development here and he should not enter into this region. He should not have the activity in this region. But if the man is avoiding this signal, man is not able to interpret this red flagging given by the environment, and let us assume that man has entered into this area. Now who is responsible for this? Man himself is responsible. Now certain places environment has provided a green signal, green flag. Means what? The environment is saying that yes, you can move ahead, you can progress, you can use the resources. In such cases, man should utilize the resource. Where environment is saying yes, you can do it, man should accelerate. And when the environment is saying no, you have to look around, you have to move with the caution, you have to move with certain precautions. Therefore, in such cases, you will find that man should slow down. So, the new deterministic geographers, they believe that the progress of man is based on his understanding about the environment. As such, environment is not coercive. Environment is providing hints to the human beings. But how human beings understand this hint will determine whether they should accelerate the growth or slow down in some areas or should not do anything in some regions. This was the idea, this was the philosophy of the stop and go determinism, or it is known as neo-determinism. And this is very important. Neo-deterministic philosophies are very important in understanding today's concept of man's interaction with the resources, utilization of resources. You can link neo-determinism with sustainable development. You can link the neo-deterministic school of thought with EIA, that is Environment Impact Assessment. So, Environment Impact Assessment and Sustainable Development, the foundation of these two can be traced to the idea, to the philosophy of neo-determinism or stop and go determinism. Now, let us come back. So, here I have discussed three things about understanding the relationship between man and environment. Two extreme views. One is determinism, which treats environment as supreme. Another possibilism, which has confidence on man. And the third idea is neo-determinism, which is something like a mixed version of two. It is a middle path between the two extreme ends. Now, let us understand what was the determinism in geography. See, tracing back the history of determinism, we find the Greek philosophers hinted the determinism. So, in historical background, look at Aristotle. Aristotle talked about how the climatic conditions are responsible for development or human development and economic development. So, he was not a geographer. Aristotle was not a geographer, but he hinted that how climate determines the human development and economic development. So, he did not coin the word determinism also. See, determinism as the term and environmentalism in geography were only after 18th and 19th century. After Darwin, we can say that determinism as a philosophy became very concrete. And after Frederick Ratzel and Churchill Sample, the same determinism, which was interdisciplinary, was applied in geography. Therefore, in your syllabus, it will be mentioned as environmentalism. Environmentalism is nothing but determinism in geography. So, the same philosophy of determinism, when you apply in geographical context, this will be referred as environmentalism. So, the birth of environmentalism is from determinism, and how determinism came into existence. So, these philosophers, whether it is Greeks, Romans, Arabs, all these ancient geographical thought have hinted determinism. Means they were deterministic in nature. Greeks were deterministic. Means anyone who were influenced by religious philosophies are also deterministic. So, someone who believes in religion are nothing but deterministic. How? Because when you believe in religion, you are believing in supernatural, you are believing in metaphysical, you are believing in God, and you say that whatever is happening to you is because of somebody else has determined it, whether it is a nature determining or God determining or supernatural power determining. All these are considered as an example of determinism. But when it comes to geography, so determinism can be studied in sociology also. Determinism can be there in biology and ecology. But here we are saying how is determinism in geography? That will be known as environmentalism. Means how are the geographical and human landscape determined by the environmental condition. So, take example like how is culture of some region determined by the geographical condition. How is the location of the industry determined by geographical condition? How is the population determined by geographical condition? How race is determined by environmental condition? How languages are determined by environmental condition? All these are the examples of determinism where we try to give credit to the environment. Now, So here we can write that all the ancient geographers were deterministic. Determinist means what? They believed in the idea of determinism. Just say you can write some examples in your answer. Aristotle, he said climate determines development. So according to Aristotle, he said that if it is a moderate condition of the climate, this will result in more rapid economic development. But extreme conditions, this will suppress the development. And that is true. You find most of the developed regions of the world are in mid-latitude. They are in temperate region, and all the poor countries of the world are in hot areas or the equatorial region, right? Then similarly, you can find certain hints given by Strabo. Then in Arab geographers, it was Al-Biruni who talked about this. Then it is Al-Masudi in Arab geographers who also talked about determinism. Like Al-Biruni, he talked about how is the climate of India determining the culture of India. He analyzed and studied Indian culture. Similarly, Al-Masudi, who is credited to give this term mausim, the monsoon, he also was trying to understand what is the influence of monsoon on the conditions of India. So, all these, whether it is Aristotle, Strabo, Al-Biruni, Al-Masudi, means you can say it is the Greek geographers or Roman geographers or Arab geographers, everyone were indirectly inclined towards the idea of determinism. Now, but the foundation of determinism was laid after the contribution of Charles Darwin. This concept of determinism became very concrete after Darwin's Origin of the Species. So, Charles Darwin concept given in his book Origin of Species. What he talks about, he says that it is natural selection. Number 2 is survival of the fittest and struggle for existence. See, in all these three principles given by Darwin, he has hinted who is supreme. So, when there is a species existing, this is in context of biology. So, natural selection means who select? It is nature. Nature is supreme. Nature has the ability to select. Nature determines who is going to survive or who is going to become extinct. Survival of the fittest. Now, who has to prove the fitness? It is the species who has to prove. Environment is not going to prove it. And struggle for existence. Who is struggling to adapt to the environment? Environment is not adapting according to the species. It is the species that is going to adapt to the environment. Thus, all these ideas given by Darwin was finally established as determinism in biology, right? Or determinism in biological sciences. But who brought this determinism to geography? That is another important question, because when you write the answer, you are not going to write the answer based on how was determinism in biology or how it was in sociology or any other discipline. Here we have to write in geographical context. Therefore, the foremost name we consider here, the founder of determinism in geography is the German geographer. It is Friedrich Ratzel. Friedrich Ratzel is considered as the founder of determinism determinism. He was follower of determinism. He's follower of Darwin. So Frederick Ratzel, he said that man's conditions are determined by environment, and he gave one important statement. You can also quote this in answer, and this will be similar locations result in similar mode of life, right? So similar locations result in similar mode of life, right? Meaning is, suppose there are two deserts. One is the desert of, now consider this is the African region in this way, and consider two areas. This is the desert of Sahara, and this is the desert of Arabian Peninsula, Arabian Desert. So two locations having similar condition. So this is desert and this is also the desert. So people who live in Sahara and people living in Arabian Desert, their mode of life is same, right? Their day-to-day activities are same. Their way to interact with the environment is same. Their culture is also same, right? So this is known as similar mode of life of the people in similar condition of environment. This is also indicating determinism. So as environment at these two places is same, then the mode of life of the people also is same. So similar environment has resulted in similar mode of life. This was one of the important thought given by Frederick Ratzel, and this Ratzel's idea. So Ratzel was trying to understand the mode of life, and this was taken ahead by his student, that is Ellen Churchill sample. And after the contribution of Ellen Churchill sample, this concept of determinism is also referred as environmentalism. This is becoming now well established in geography after the contribution of Ellen Churchill sample. Now, what was her idea about this? Now, sample, she was a staunch supporter of environmentalism and determinism. She was one step ahead of her teacher, and she said that it is not only the mode of life. Ratzel was talking about mode of life, but sample, she said that no, it is not only the mode of life, but the entire aspect of humans, entire life of human, whether it is a society, history, culture, everything of man is determined by environment. Meaning is, she said that man is a dust of dust. Man is born out of this dust of earth, dust of the environment, right? From womb to tomb, everything of man, from birth to death, everything of man is governed by environment. From cradle to grave, everything of man is governed by environment. Man has nothing in his control. This was the idea of environmentalism. So when you write in answer about environmentalism, you have to quote Churchill's sample. Then only this answer becomes more appropriate, because she is the geographer who has emphasized on the determinism as a major philosophy to understand man's relation with the environment. But again, now as this determinism has grown, there was a contradictory philosophy, counter philosophy growing, that was known as possibilism. And we will discuss in detail about what is possibilism and further detail about the environmentalism also in the coming classes of Geography Optional. So hope to see you in the optional classes. Thank you.